Hi, this is Keith Furrow with Keith Furrow Associates. Today we're talking about what should you look at if you are a home buyer and you're going to do a walkthrough, pre-purchase inspection. Now, there are different times that you do these inspections. Now, typically when you're looking at a property to purchase, you're doing a superficial review unless it's empty and vacant. It's one thing. But typically you're going through and you can't see behind everything, but you're looking around and you're trying to notice the imperfections in the house and what kind of amenities and the things that it would have. Now, I strongly recommend that after you've made that purchase and it's subject to a home inspection, and then that home inspection would will we'll look at the electrical, the heating, the plumbing, these kind of things. They don't typically look at cosmetics except for things that would be very obvious, like doors that are falling off or a garage door that doesn't open or close, or these kind of things. They're looking at larger items, but not just smaller items. They tend to be looking at the structural things, and they're looking at, is there wood rot? How's this property been maintained? A lot of times you can tell a lot by a home based on these kind of things. So they look up inside the heater closet and see if they've had pets and didn't have a vent or this kind of thing. So I recommend a strong home inspection, and I also recommend that if you're a seller, before you put a home on the market, it's a good idea to go ahead and have a home inspection so that you can find the list of items and go ahead and get those repaired ahead of time. Now, it could be that any buyer is going to have a different list, and everybody is subjective, so everybody's going to have a different, opinion of what should or should not be repaired. But and then at what point do we, what's considered fix? And a lot of times in our industry, a cure is worse than disease. Sometimes you can fix a small imperfection, but you create a larger, major imperfection because the wood doesn't match, or the wall becomes shiny where you patched it, or all these other little details that can change, and you have to understand the ramifications when you make these kind of changes. Now, when it comes to the final walkthrough, typically at that point, you're just going in there and you're just making sure the items that was on your home inspection list that was agreed upon by buyer and seller have been repaired. It's really not a time to go back into a house and find 20 more problems with it, because that won't really behoove you very well at a closing. It's something that you need to do ahead of time. Now, if we're talking about builders walkthroughs are quite different. Each builder, there's as many different styles as there are builders. Some will do a walkthrough a week ahead of time when the home's complete. Some do them a couple days ahead of time. Oftentimes some builders require you to turn on your own utilities, some don't. Oftentimes they want to do it just before closing. I recommend 3 days minimum, a week's even better. I recommend that you have a professional walkthrough with your builder, your superintendent, if it's not the builder himself, going through the house, listing imperfections, because there are no perfect homes. And once you have the list of those items and they've agreed upon to be repaired, then come back at least 24 hours prior to, if you can, to the closing to make sure there's not something that wasn't missed, because some repairs are subjective. Now, again, that second walkthrough or third walkthrough, depending on the situation, is not designed to come up with a whole new list, because typically that doesn't go real well. Typically you have to be inclusive on your first walkthrough to make sure that those items are going to be repaired and everybody's happy. And I strongly recommend that if you're buying a new home, that you have your repairs done, unless there's last minute something they have to do before you move in. Most builders are great about taking care of these things, but they get busy and you become a little less of a priority once you've closed in the property. So I wouldn't say don't close, but I would make sure that I understood what I'm getting and that it was clearly in writing and there was no confusion, and it's obviously with a builder that has a good reputation of taking care of his clients. Nowadays with the web, it's kind of easy to find out who takes care of people and who doesn't. Keith Furrow, Keith Furrow Associates, have a great day.